having his statement about Conor's manager coming to MVP and trying to set up a fight, but them not doing it because it isn't associated with the UFC.
Jake Paul delivers a shocking revelation about a potential showdown with Conor McGregor, just when it seemed like his headline-grabbing moves couldn't get any more outrageous. This time, he makes a bold declaration: he's fully prepared to take on McGregor in the boxing ring. That's right, you heard correctly. But it's the bizarre conditions Jake is putting on the table that have left fans and critics alike utterly baffled.
That want to push for unless the UFC is directly at the table negotiating, because
somehow, Jake Paul has managed to persuade many that he's now a legitimate boxer, and now, he's setting terms that include the involvement of the UFC or Dana White, or else the fight simply won't happen. Seriously, Jake? You're targeting Conor McGregor now, a man who has conquered both the MMA and boxing arenas, but you want conditions attached? Is this truly the fight fans have been craving, or is Jake simply drumming up hype for his next spectacle? In his latest twist in the world of combat sports, Jake Paul asserted that McGregor's team is desperately seeking to arrange a bout with him. What's even more astonishing is their rumored tactic: they are allegedly bypassing traditional negotiations and bringing in Bellator star Michael "Venom" Page as a middleman. That's right, McGregor's well-connected camp supposedly reaching out through a competitor's promotion? It's more than just unexpected, it's absolutely staggering.
Having his statement about Conor's manager coming to MVP and trying to set up a fight, but them not doing it because it isn't associated.
Yet in true Jake Paul fashion, he didn't do what everyone anticipated. Instead of chasing after McGregor's attention like an eager contender, Jake completely flipped expectations. He declared that Dana White and the UFC must be involved. No UFC? Then no fight. Jake wasn't just negotiating hard, he was ensuring that the deal would be entirely on his terms, or even better. This move had everyone puzzled, questioning why he'd suddenly require Dana White and the UFC to be part of his already unconventional plans. Let's not forget, this is Jake Paul we're talking about. His entire rise has been centered around disrupting the norm and flipping the combat sports world on its head.
I'm just saying, for the UFC to grant Conor McGregor the right to fight Logan Paul, and Dana hates the Pauls, you know how Dana holds grudge.
When Jake Paul demands UFC involvement, he's not just showing off, he's executing a strategic power play by leveraging the UFC's massive global reach like a calculated chess master. Dana White and his organization don't just add prestige, they bring with them unparalleled reach, structural influence, and a fan base that spans the entire globe. It's a method that mirrors Conor McGregor's own strategies, especially considering McGregor's history of calling out other major entertainment platforms like WWE. The truth is, global stardom doesn't come from knocking out a few fellow YouTubers.
Dana White clause attached to this contract for Conor McGregor and Jake Paul, or Conor McGregor Logan Paul, none of this happened.
By laying down this challenge, Jake Paul is pulling off what many see as a genius maneuver. He's putting the UFC, the same organization that once dismissed him as nothing more than a gimmick, on notice, forcing them to now regard him as a serious figure in combat sports. He isn't humbly asking for attention, he's demanding his seat at the table. Now, the most dominant fighting promotion on the planet faces a dilemma: ignore Jake and risk being left out of a major event, or engage and possibly bring the fight to a worldwide audience. Either decision sends shockwaves, and Jake is now reshaping how the sport handles negotiations.
You guys see the Logan Paul Conor McGregor wins in that fight? I think Logan Paul.
I mean, we haven't seen Conor fight in a while.
I feel like Logan Paul, at his size, when he fought Floyd too, that was years ago. He's like been training, he's in insane shape.
Man, I wish Conor wasn't doing these.
And if the Paul McGregor speculation wasn't already intense, another twist has emerged about where this potential super fight could unfold. According to ESPN's Salvador Rodriguez, the much-hyped clash between Logan Paul and Conor McGregor might go down in July, August, or September of 2025, and the venue in question? India. The powerhouse behind this blockbuster idea? None other than the Ambani family, whose extraordinary wealth and influence could turn this matchup into something much bigger than anyone anticipated. With the Ambanis involved, this bout isn't just a fight, it's shaping up to become a historic global event.
I think $100 billion family looking to kind of replicate what's going on in Riyadh season in Saudi Arabia. How they're pushing into boxing. India with that kind of money, maybe.
Choosing India as the destination is far from arbitrary, it's a deliberate and tactical choice. India is one of the fastest rising markets in combat sports, home to a vast and eager fan base that's still relatively untapped. Hosting a spectacle of this scale in India isn't just about expanding reach, it's a statement to the sports world that India is now part of the future of global entertainment. And then there's the money factor. With the Ambani family at the helm, we're not talking about minor investments. Backed by a jaw-dropping net worth of $113.5 billion, Asia's richest family could finance the entire spectacle without so much as a hiccup in their telecom empire. This isn't just about setting a new standard for showmanship, it's about rewriting the financial model for combat sports. Jake Paul and Conor McGregor wouldn't merely be clashing for pride. They'd be crafting history, punching their way into a global legacy, all while basking in the dazzling light of both dollar signs and rupees.
First, it just came out. Conor just put it on Twitter that he was in talks with the Ambani family to.
The timing? Flawless. With no major international sporting events overshadowing the summer of 2025, the spotlight would shift entirely to India. This isn't merely a fight, it's a strategic spectacle drenched in money and influence, potentially revolutionizing where and how history's biggest boxing matches are staged. Now, let's take a closer look at the fighters set to collide. On one side stands Conor McGregor, the dual-weight UFC champion who rose to become a global phenomenon. On the other is Jake Paul, the influencer-turned-boxer who has somehow managed to persuade the public he's a legitimate contender. McGregor's fighting approach mirrors his personality, flamboyant, explosive, and driven by the kind of knockout power that ends bouts in the blink of an eye.
He's a big dude, and he can crack.
Yeah.
And I always say that people look at him like a guy who is a YouTuber, and they're denying his skills.
Not anymore, bro.
Then there's Jake Paul, whose rise through the boxing ranks is impossible to ignore. From social media celebrity to bona fide fighter, Jake has raised eyebrows and stirred endless controversy. As of November 2024, his pro record boasts 11 wins with just a single loss suffered in a decision against Tommy Fury in February 2023. Not too shabby. And let's not overlook his 2018 amateur win over Deji, bringing his total combat tally to an impressive 12-1. Critics may question the quality of his opponents, but whether he's throwing punches or headlines, Jake Paul remains one of the most talked about figures in the sport. And don't forget Logan Paul. From prank videos to prize fights, Logan's journey has taken its own wild path. He clashed twice with KSI, resulting in a draw and a narrow loss by split decision, leaving fans endlessly debating who actually had the upper hand.
And it does show us that this is a Jake Paul-driven thing going on here, and that Conor McGregor makes sense because he's probably still one of, if not the biggest name in combat.
The burning question is, why does any of this matter? Because Jake Paul isn't just setting his sights on Conor McGregor, he's issuing a challenge to the UFC as a whole. By demanding their direct involvement, Jake is going head-to-head with Dana White's grip on combat sports and daring him to recognize most valuable promotions as a legitimate force in the game. This is no minor flex, it's a tactical strike aimed at disrupting the core structure of fight promotions. The potential impact? Monumental. If Jake succeeds, it could open the floodgates for future cross-promotional blockbusters, tearing down barriers between independent fighters and industry giants. Just imagine a future where MVP and the UFC partner up, fusing Jake's viral influence with UFC's worldwide platform. It's a visionary shakeup that could alter the fight industry forever.
Logan said you might be next. Would you be next?
Slap the nose off. He's gonna be like.
The fight between Jake Paul and Conor McGregor isn't only about settling personal scores. McGregor's reputation has taken some hits lately, from legal battles and sponsorship setbacks to underwhelming performances in the cage. A fight with Jake Paul might appear beneath him, but it could also be his chance to reignite the fire and prove he's still the notorious one. Meanwhile, Jake Paul isn't playing checkers, he's playing chess. His callouts are anything but random, they're surgically calculated. By challenging MMA legends, he's building a brand around disruption. He's not just entering the boxing ring, he's rewriting its entire rulebook. What makes this clash so captivating isn't simply who would win, it's the story behind it. Jake, the internet troublemaker, versus McGregor, the wild brawler turned megastar. It's a battle between legacy and rebellion, tradition and transformation, and it's absolute entertainment gold.
Easy as it sounds now, based on how I felt about this 4 years ago, that Jake Paul would give Conor McGregor real problems in a boxing ring and potentially knock him out.
This rivalry could redefine the sport entirely. If Jake Paul does face Conor McGregor, it won't just be a fight, it will serve as a model. It would prove that crossover matches can thrive, that social media phenoms can challenge seasoned veterans, and that combat sports are evolving faster than anyone predicted. Love him or hate him, Jake Paul is changing the game. This isn't merely a beef, it's the beginning of a movement. But the question remains, is Jake Paul bluffing, or are we closer to this showdown than we think? With all the theatrics, surprises, and calculated media stunts he's known for, it's tough to tell. So, what do you think? Does Jake have a real shot at beating McGregor, or is this just his latest tactic to dominate the headlines? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and stick with us, because we'll be tracking every update in the Paul brothers' chaotic fight saga and the high-stakes role the Ambani family might play. Buckle up, because things in the fight world are about to explode. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this fight breakdown, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to FightCore for more powerful boxing updates. Stay tuned for the next round.